Hello, welcome to the Wealth Transfer, where we talk about global economics, biblical principles, and protecting and preserving your family's wealth. And are we going to need it coming into the new year? As we're getting into the end of the year here, Charles, I think this is very important. I am Terry Saka, Chief Strategist at Cornerstone, and I'm along with Dr. Charles Vance. Hi, Charles.
Yeah, hi, Terry. It is great to be along today, and I, for one, want to say I appreciate all the information that you bring to us.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's made an impact in my life, a change in my life, and I know to the viewers as well, it's making a change in their lives. Because we have so many people comment. A lot of people contact you guys, they contact us back as well, and making a change in people's lives. At least we're getting people thinking about they need to do something different. Don't just keep running with the system. The system is dangerous. Don't keep running with it. Make sure that you do something that you know is a biblical process. The name of this program is called Wealth Transfer. Wealth doesn't leave planet Earth. It's just moving from hand to hand. You need to make sure you're in a position for it to come to you and not leave you.
Well, and you know what we're going to do this program, Charles, is talk about the actual banking rules, what's really happening in the banking world, and how then do we navigate. We're going to hit some really core good investment data today. I think when you understand the banking rules, you understand this new IRA they just created. We've been talking about this for years, and they actually did it. I can't believe they created this called the My IRA. So what we're going to do is kind of outline some of this for you, because in the banking system, it's not what you think it is. You think when you put money in the bank, you go to the bank and you put this in. You think you're given to the bank for safekeeping. That's actually not true. The bank then takes your money. Why do they pay you a paltry interest? Because it's not yours. What you've actually done, you gave the bank a loan. You said, here's my dollar, go invest it and make money, and that's why they pay you interest in return. And I know it doesn't seem like that's reasonable, but what I just told you is true. This is known as the 2011 Dodd-Frank Banking Act. They settled it in court with what we call the MF Global case. And in the MF Global case, they found that when the financial institution collapsed, which, mind you, is every financial institution, brokerage firm, I don't care who you're with, if they collapse and they lose more money than was really theirs, they can take your money, because it was shown in court and by the law that your money is not your money in the bank and in the brokerage, because you're giving them a loan. That's why if you're not in a stock or a bond in the brokerage, you're actually in what they call money market, right? A money market pays you interest, meaning you're giving them a loan. So you're putting a lot of folks anyway, right now, we have this thing, Charles, called the velocity of money. The velocity of money, going back to World War II, has never been this low. And what it really means is we, not just we, but even corporations for that matter, are hoarding this. So many people are stuffing this in mattresses, they're in the bank accounts. There's like $9 trillion. A little over $9 trillion in the banking system. Now, here's the scary part. There's only 1.3 trillion physical paper dollars ever printed.
Whoa!
Charles is like, wait a minute, man.
I've got to interrupt.
I know. I can't wait to explain this to you.
Okay, yeah, well, I can't hardly wait to hear it, and probably nobody else can either.
I know.
So there's $9 trillion that's electronically circulating in the bank. Is that what you're saying? That is there, but it's not there?
Right now, if you go, let's say you have 100,000, or you're in retirement, you're older, you have CDs, you have 200,000 in the bank. You have 200,000 in the bank of your money. Mm-hmm. It's not there, though. What they've done is taken that 200,000 and multiplied it, fractional banking, multiplied it 20 times.
Sure.
So there's probably 4 million in loans out on your 200.
Okay.
Now, they have.
I understand that.
I know you do. So here's the thing.
Now, not everybody does,
I know.
But I understand that.
Printed physically, like this dollar bill right now, is real. meaning it is, to whoever holds it, you can transact with it, right?
Sure.
Now, we put the physical in the bank. There's only been 1.2 trillion real physical dollars printed. Now,
Interesting.
that's all denominations too,
Sure.
right? In the banking system today, there is roughly 9 to 10 trillion.
All because of the fractional banking. But let's explain it real quick to people, because
Sure.
a lot of people don't know what fractional banking is. Fractional banking just simply means, and you said it, but I want them to hear it. If I put $100 in the bank, they can multiply that, some banks up to 60 times.
Yes.
Depending on the size of the bank, what kind of relationship they have with the Federal Reserve banking system.
Yes.
And then loan 60 times out. Let's use $1 because it's easy to understand. If I put $1 in the bank, they can loan $60 to other people coming into the bank.
But here's the
wanting to borrow
problem.
money.
Exactly. Now, here's the problem. If there's $10 trillion in the bank system, but only 1.2 trillion printed, do it this way. 100 people show up to get their dollar. Only 10 are walking out with it. That's the real statistic. Now, I don't know about you. Are you willing to take that chance?
Isn't that called, what they used to call that, a run on the bank?
Yes,
if people,
exactly.
I mean, that was what happened.
That's right.
In the Great Depression,
Right.
people were lined up to get. It's what happened in Cyprus, right? Just
Cyprus,
a couple years
Greece,
ago, year and a half ago.
Greece, Honduras, we just showed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's where people are wanting to physically get their money out, take it home with them, but it's not really there.
And that's the same thing with the brokerage accounts, stock brokerage accounts. It's not your money. You've given a loan to the brokerage firm. So the reason we want to bring this up is because we're going to go into some videos that kind of outline this a bit, and we're going to show the rules. So we want people, here we are at the end of the year, we want folks to know that towards the end of the year here, you need to make some choices. And if you're scared of the investment world, I respect and understand that. But if you're not in if you're in the banking system, you're just as at risk to a degree. Now, you're not going to be in a depreciating asset, but...
What you mean by in the banking system is that you are holding currency.
Meaning all of your retirement account and everything that you've ever worked for is in a bank account.
Cash.
It's in cash.
Or in a bank system.
Right. In cash in your brokerage, in cash in the banking system.
Savings account,
Yes.
stock market.
I had a client one day say it was magnificent. He says they're just digits in the cosmos.
That's a good way to put it.
He wanted to put his money in what God made.
Well, sure.
And
something
so
that
that's
you can
kind
get
of
hold
how,
of.
yes.
Even in, my wife and I own real estate. You're aware of that. Some people don't. We own a few pieces of real estate, and the real estate can be actually taken away from you.
Yes.
Because they tax the real estate. The county government puts a property tax on it. If you don't pay your property tax, they can come and seize that.
That's right.
In this, there's no tax on it as such as a property tax.
Right.
So for them to come and seize it, there would have to be some real anarchy.
Well, because the taxation on this kind of asset is only when you sell it and you profit, then you pay capital gains on it. And so the thing is, if the banking system rule is such, shouldn't we be aware that so many people, they're like, okay, I'm out of the stock market, I'm out of the bonds. They quite haven't figured this out yet. And so keep doing your homework or keep listening or watching, right? But the point is, if you're in the banking system, you're just as at risk because there's only a fraction of this there for you. And with the amount of money that is, or debt that is out there, we just showed you last week, what happened in Honduras is exactly what I'm talking about. Don't think it can't happen here. There's a condition called normalcy bias. It's when intelligent people are in denial because they've never seen it or have never been part of it, so they don't believe it can happen to them. I'm really saying that this is a normalcy bias condition of American culture today because what's coming is so real on the heels of our border, or in the perimeter of our border. It's like that alligator under the water. So get educated because this is really important. So before we get into this banking video, let's just first know that how do you get started if you haven't thought about doing it yet? Well, number one, get educated. Register for information if you want to. Here's a good way to do that.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you with cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call or register now.
Now, this is really important, Charles, because we're talking about the banking system, that the money is not really yours that's in there. You're actually known as a unsecured creditor. So there's a secured creditor, and then there's a derivative company to pay back after that. So what I want to do is we're going to show you first videos on how the banking system new law works, and then we're going to go in and tell you about the new IRA they just created and to stay away from it and why. So let's go into the first video. This is a banking system video. This is the new laws that were established. It's not for debate, but I want to make sure, but while you're making decisions at the end of the year here, that you can make the right decisions on holding all of this kind of currency in a banking system or a brokerage and get wise on diversifying to tangible assets, because nobody has a title on this or control than you. And we're here to save the kingdom, our future standard of living, inherit it to our children and children's children, and we can't do it if we're putting our trust in the world, because remember, Lucifer is God of the world. He's part of the systems of. Go where God gave us dominion, and that's things of the earth. So let's watch this video here. That is the banking video, first one, to start explaining what has just recently taken place the last couple of years.
You go shopping and your credit card transaction is denied despite the fact that you know you have money in your account. Or you go to an ATM machine and you're informed that your withdrawal request has been denied. Or you're a public official, such as a school business administrator, county treasurer, municipal finance manager, pension fund administrator, or anyone who has responsibility for protecting public taxpayer funds. You're informed that all accounts have been frozen until further notice. As you investigate why you can't access money you know should be available, you find out that the bank has failed and has been closed until further notice by the FDIC. You also discover that the government will be confiscating part of your deposits in order to stabilize the bank. You believe that this can't happen here because the FDIC protects your money. You may have placed your money into one of the big banks because it has large vaults and is protected by the government. You may have placed public monies into a large bank because they're collateralized and the government will back them. Therefore, you think these funds are safe. All of these assumptions are not based on the facts. Perhaps you recall that in Cyprus, depositors' money was confiscated in order to stabilize the banks. Similar plans are already in place to do the same in the U.S. and other countries.
Now, if I showed you, now the charts we showed you last week about the trajectory of debt and loan, what is important to understand is the banks are even worse off. We have the top 5 banks in the United States actually have an accumulation of roughly $250 to $300 trillion in derivative bets.
What's derivative bets?
Derivative basically means a piece of paper, literally like a piece of paper. It's an investment that they do for interest rates or bonds or whatever it is. They say, I tell you what, I agree that these interest rates won't rise. So party A to party B, you want to put money on that or give me insurance that this won't rise? And what I'll do is I'll put a bet out there that it won't, and we'll play along with this.
Wow, it's like gambling?
Absolutely. And so you give me some insurance that that's not going to rise. So if it does, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to buy these bonds. Bonds are fake, mind you. They're IOUs,
Sure.
right? So I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy the bond, but I'm going to take insurance out because if that bond interest rate changes, then I lose a lot of money. So I'll go buy the bonds, but I'm going to buy an insurance policy from you. You're going to give me this policy. This is a form of a derivative. Another derivative that took place, the housing market. Remember what they were doing is now this is where regional banks were working because they knew you, they knew who they were loaning money to, and it was local. Once it went commercial, it was a digit in the cosmos. And this is really important to understand because the reason the housing crisis happened in 08, they were giving home loans to people who shouldn't have had them. And it was not just a little, it was a lot. Wait until you see automotive loans, student loans. They're all over the place. The banks have put people in bondage on. These house loans, what they did is they took good house loans, according to your credit report, and bad, which they call subprime. So you have a 700 score and those with a 500 score, and they say, so who would buy that loan if you're a bank? They sold the loans. You wouldn't want a loan from someone who doesn't pay their bills. So what they did is they packaged up all these mortgages into a box. They called it Derivative A. And they said, okay, we have good people and bad people. That way it all kind of blends out. There's good people fall away. The good ones support them. It'll work. They then sold these derivatives to Wall Street. Wall Street then sold them out as stock shares. Hence the whole entire housing collapse.
I've got to get my hand in again here.
Crazy.
Did the people that were buying the stock from Wall Street actually know what they were buying?
Yes, but they were told that it was a collection of good debt and subprime, not so good
They didn't
debt.
know John Doe and Joe Doe.
They didn't know, right, not like the regional banker who
Right.
knew you. So they said, Charles, I know you, I know your business, I know your character, I'll give you a loan for your house.
Now, in addition to the housing problem, is that they were super inflating the values of the properties and the houses. I mean,
Because of the
that
free,
happened to us.
Because the money was flowing free.
Right.
The banks were doing this. Now, what unfortunately happened after all that was a derivative. There are so many derivatives out there now, derivative holders get paid back first in any collapse. Secured creditors second, third are unsecured. We, the people, were the unsecured creditors. This is not good. So what they're showing you here is the laws have changed. We didn't know this, but it did happen in 2011. The laws are not the same.
So
it's not your money.
How did the law change in the sense that it's not our money now?
We're unsecured creditors.
Okay.
So let's go to the second video, and let's watch this second video and kind of wrap up kind of the explanation of the banking system so you can get a better idea of what we're talking about here. Because remember, you think that's yours. You think FDIC is there to insure your money. It's not. So let's start up this second video and kind of give you a full explanation of what we're talking about.
In order to protect themselves, the Cyprus government closed the banks 12 days, and people had limited access to their money. Long lines formed at the ATM machine.
The fact is that the confiscations in Cyprus were not a one-time event. The eventuality for this had already been planned in advance, and there are plans in place for confiscations of depositor accounts in New Zealand, the European Union, Canada, England, and the United States.
And we passed Dodd-Frank legislation. And people think, well, that's it for bailouts. No, that's not it. Actually, it's just going to be a bail-in. In order to maintain liquidity in failed banks, the European Union and the Federal Reserve have a policy of bailing in, which means you seize depositors' deposits. Those could be mom and pop, up to their $250,000. It could be a city's deposits on deposit. It could be bondholders. That's what happened in Cyprus. That's what's happening right now with the Cooperative Bank in London, England, and that's what the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation and the Bank of England have jointly agreed to do here in the United States.
Now, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation only has $25 billion in its kitty. It is not part of the government. It is a private insurance entity for the central bank in the banking system. Remember, the central bank is not a government. It's actually a corporation that pays dividend interest to the banking members that own it.
No, so
it's huge
so
to know.
The FDIC then only in the billions of dollars, but the banking system is in the trillions of dollars.
The FDIC has only $25 billion. So
well, that's nothing. I mean,
that's my point here.
That's single digit percent.
Yes.
That's like a penny on the dollar, maybe. Or
what you just said is my point. If a bank fails, or systemically.
We're good if a little bank fails.
Yes.
And if a bunch of banks fell at one time, there is no money to cover it in the FDIC.
I'm saying what's coming is bigger and more epic than we've ever seen in our lifetime.
So if something like what took place in Cyprus, where the banking system in general has a problem in the U.S., it's going to create, obviously, there's not going to be enough money to bail it out. With
That's
the FDIC.
exactly my point.
Right.
And so all of your retirement and all of your assets, your churches and ministry money is all in the bank. That's not doing you any good. So what I'm trying to say is what's coming is epic. We just don't know the when. All I know is the BRIC nations, Chinese, the Russian, the Middle East, the narrative on the petrodollar. This stuff is so rich and real. Our assets, if not in the right place and we're not timing it right, we will have substantial problems in protecting and preserving our family's wealth, substantial problems in supporting the ministry. So get educated, please. The best way to do it is at least get an education. It's the best investment you can make, and here's a good way to get started.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you with cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call or register now.
Now, what I want to lead up to, Charles, in this, it's not, well, it is about protecting our wealth.
Sure.
Protecting the church's wealth, protecting we the people's wealth. What I think it's really coming down to is a sovereign attack on our freedom. I believe at the end of the day, it's designed to bring us down. I believe the immigration is designed to destabilize social society, to form or kind of foster civil war. I believe some of the movements going on in our country right now are nothing more than Marxist insurgent tactics, because none of it is based on truth. It's based on hyperbole emotion. But if you knew the Marxist insurgent tactic, you'd understand that I'm pretty accurate on this. So I think at the end of the day, it truly is a takedown of our culture, our way of life, and enslavement of we the people for the future. I'm not saying it. Let me show you who said it. Let's put up this last image. His name is Paul Warburg, and this is out of his mouth. This is now the first Federal Reserve board member. He was one of the creators of the Federal Reserve System in 1913. We will have a world government whether you like it or not. The only question is whether that the government will be achieved by conquest or consent.
Now, he was one of the original
Federal Reserve chairman.
Federal Reserve, which has nothing to do with the government. They're not a government entity.
Right.
They are individuals. They're individuals that own and operate the money system in the world.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
He said they will have one world government one day, whether they have to force it down your throat or convince you to allow it to happen. So I'm really wrapping this up because they've come out with a new IRA, and we're wrapping up the end of the year here, and they call it the My IRA.
So like mine?
My IRA. I've been saying this for years, and they did it. I feel so vindicated, but they did it. This My IRA, guess what it tells you to do? It doesn't want you to put your money at risk. So it gives you second-tier Social Security. It gives you the ability to invest your IRA in U.S. Treasuries.
Oh,
that's right.
Goodness.
U.S. Treasuries are as good as the faith and credit of the United States. So you invest your retirement now, and we'll give you a guaranteed interest payback for the rest of your life. And don't worry, if the bond market implodes and you lose everything you have, we'll give you pittance every day for the rest of your life. Man, that's right, the new My IRA. Buy it now at your local dealer.
And that's for real? That's for real?
No joke.
Wow.
They did it. And I was saying they were going to. But instead of taking existing IRAs, they're now giving people the opportunity for the future to do it. And I know it was a setup. I knew it was coming. I really didn't believe they were going to take it.
So people
I just believed it was coming.
People are putting their hard-earned money, as you say a lot.
Yeah.
What we've earned for years, they're taking that and just giving it to the government basically for an IOU.
Yes.
Now,
so you know, we got to wrap it up, Charles. But I tell you what,
Yeah.
let's do this. I just want people to be knowing. Get protected.
Yes.
Be careful who you trust. Let's throw in that Reagan if we can. I want people to see this to wrap this up. God bless you. And we'll go on the heels of this one. You don't believe it? Take it from the words of a great man.
Across party lines. Outside of its legitimate functions, government does nothing as well or as economically as the private sector of the economy. For 3 decades, we've sought to solve the problems of unemployment through government planning, and the more the plans fail, the more the planners plan. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose. Somewhere a perversion has taken place. Our natural unalienable rights are now considered to be a dispensation of government. And freedom has never been so fragile, so close to slipping from our grasp as it is at this moment.
Cornerstone Asset Metals has focused on using gold and silver reserves to protect your assets from volatile currencies. Another hard asset that is just as important for your sustainability is food. We believe that preparation is a key to being successful in an unstable economic environment, so we started Cam Ready Food just for you. The Bible tells us that Joseph used the resources of Egypt to prepare for a global famine by storing up food in a time of plenty. His preparation not only preserved the lives of his family, but many others as well. At Cornerstone, we believe the time is now to re-examine this biblical lesson so that you and your family can be prepared for any disaster, job loss, food shortage, or economic instability. You can start preparing today by visiting our website, camreadyfood.com, because food truly is the ultimate currency. Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you with cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call or register now.
That's actually not true. The bank then takes your money. Why do they pay you a paltry interest? Because it's not yours. What you've actually done, you gave the bank a loan. You said, here's my dollar, go invest it and make money, and that's why they pay you interest in return. And I know it doesn't seem like that's reasonable, but what I just told you is true. This is known as the 2011 Dodd-Frank Banking Act. They settled it in court with what we call the MF Global case. And in the MF Global case, they found that when the financial institution collapsed, which was what's really happening in the banking world, and how then do we navigate? We're going to hit some really core good investment data today. I think when you understand the banking rules, you understand this new IRA they just created. We've been talking about this for years, and they actually did it. I can't believe they created this called the My IRA. So what we're going to do is kind of outline some of this for you, because in the banking system, it's not what you think it is. You think when you put money in the bank, you go to the bank and you put this in. You think you're given to the bank for safekeeping. Mind you, is every financial institution, brokerage firm, I don't care who you're with, if they collapse, and they lose more money than was really theirs, they can take your money because it was shown in court and by the law that your money is not your money in the bank and in the brokerage because you're giving them a loan. That's why if you're not in a stock or a bond in the brokerage, you're actually in what they call money market, right? A money market pays you interest, meaning you're giving them a loan. So you're putting a lot of folks anyway, right now, we have this thing, Charles, called the velocity of money. Hello, welcome to the Wealth Transfer, where we talk about global economics, biblical principles, and protecting and preserving your family's wealth. And are we going to need it coming into the new year? As we're getting into the end of the year here, Charles, I think this is very important. I am Terry Saka, Chief Strategist at Cornerstone, and I'm along with Dr. Charles Vance. Hi, Charles.
Yeah, hi, Terry. It is great to be along today, and I, for one, want to say I appreciate all the information that you bring to us.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's made an impact in my life, a change in my life, and I know to the viewers as well, it's making a change in their lives. Because we have so many people comment. A lot of people contact you guys, they contact us back as well, and making a change in people's lives. At least we're getting people thinking about they need to do something different. Don't just keep running with the system. The system is dangerous. Don't keep running with it. Make sure that you do something that you know is a biblical process. The name of this program is called Wealth Transfer. Wealth doesn't leave planet Earth. It's just moving from hand to hand. You need to make sure you're in a position for it to come to you and not leave you.
Well, and you know what we're going to do this program, Charles, is talk about the actual banking rules.